about this feeling, baby, we're invincible.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Notts County. As always, if you're enjoying the save, drop a like on the video. That'd be tremendous. It really does help out the channel, helps it find new people. I'm going to start with a question of the day. We haven't done this for a while. So here's my question to you. Where are you at with FM in terms of hours played on FM20? Because I think I'm only at about 200, only, he says, at the moment. And I know that a lot of you will probably have way more than double that, potentially. But I only really play it when I'm recording videos because, I mean, that's enough, trust me, sometimes. But yeah, so let me know in the comments what are your stats right now. Winner gets my surprise, I suppose. Yeah, and you got any ideas for question today? Drop those in the comments too with the hashtag QOTD. Brendan Milnes, I've finally sent him out on loan for a bit. He's had a few years here where obviously he's just been playing in our underage sides, doing his thing. But I figured now would probably be a good time. He's 18 years old. It's time to get him out and about. And Charlton of League One came in, so that kind of shows you the level he's probably operating at. And honestly, I'm very curious to see how he does. Sean Lancaster's finally scored himself his first senior goal whilst playing for Sheffield Wednesday. There's people banging in goals all over the place. Harry McGuigan is doing a phenomenal job at Scunthorpe in the Championship again. He's actually tearing it up for them, which is really cool to see. Anthony Jones is doing wonderful things at Fylde for a second season. A lot of them wanted to extend the loan, so I just kind of let them. Matt, please make a friendly tournament with Norwich, Bloody Rakov and Blyth Speetons, just for the meme. Next summer, I am absolutely going to do that. Hopefully, they'll all agree to it. I don't think they will somehow, though. But hey, it would be nice to get the band back together. The three horsemen of the apocalypse. Can we take a look at that regen striker from Norwich who had 19 goals in the Championship? So I think you meant Jeff Alexander. I don't know, because I saw that he'd scored a few goals for Norwich last year. He's actually on loan from Spurs. I think this must be the guy you said, though, because he's got 23 goals for Norwich in total. This is he, 20-year-old Englishman, playing for Spurs this season, has actually got a goal and an assist in the Premier League, so I expect to see a bit more out of Jeff Alexander. My guess is this guy's probably future international. 17 finishing, 12 composure. He's a wonder kid. He's bloody good, isn't he? Why would you not put it on defensive when you're ahead with such a weak team as yours? So this is referring to that whole Bournemouth debacle game. Because in my experience, defensive doesn't really do anything. I find it just invites more pressure onto you, which is why I tend not to do it. I find that leaving the mentality the same and putting on time wasting seems to do way more to actually kill the game off than putting it on defensive. Also, both the goals we conceded against Bournemouth at that point were from corners, so the defensive thing I don't think would have made any difference. Probably would have conceded more corners, if anything. Right. Off-camera games, we've had 3, and I think I might finally have settled on an approach that we're going to go forward with, at least for the next sort of few games, to try and really set this one bed in, because I think that's an important factor, not changing things constantly. I've only made one tiny change. So we started off at home against Leicester City, and by golly, we deserved this. Now, you might look at that, again, with the shots. I guess we had more, but look at this. Leicester just did nothing. They created nothing in this entire match. I don't think they had a single, recognizable chance. They were just popping shots from everywhere. And the reason that is the case is because I dropped us one more step deeper, just to lower defensive line and lower line of engagement. That's the only change we made. And I think I actually had Stepanek playing on a bit of roam for position in the second half, and it seemed to be interesting. But he got his first goal for the club. The point is, though, we created a decent number of chances in this game. David Ferguson was running that midfield. Dubois kind of struggling a little bit in the deep lying role. It does feel like for me, which is why Regan Booty came in and actually got a chance created. So I'm a little bit concerned about Dubois, maybe not the right role for him in the way that we're playing currently. But regardless, Stepanek gave us the lead. I can't remember whose header it was that deflected. It might have actually been Mpepe. Yeah, it was. His header was saved and it bounced back to Stepanek, who was able to put it into an empty net. But then Sonche Hansen, by the way, tell me how his name's pronounced. I'm not sure that's right. And also nicknames for the guys if you're up for it. He got the ball in his own half, drive all the way through about 4 players with his wonderful dribbling ability and thrash one in the top corner to make it 2-0. This to me was a good sign of what's to come. I feel like at home we really did do nicely. Not too much possession, didn't really need it. I think I might have also put get stuck in towards the end, because I felt like that might help us just get a bit more bitey in games. But getting our first win of the season, and more importantly, a clean sheet. Perrier was excellent, and Perrier currently leads the league in interceptions with 19 already. So I think there's definitely something to be said for his input this year. But then far more surprising was this. Now, this one, I'm fully going to admit, we were very, very fortunate with this one. They flew out the traps early on. However, the actual chance creation was not particularly great. They had one clear-cut opportunity, which was the penalty, which they missed. And then we went straight up the other end. Well, 15 minutes later, won a penalty of our own, which Kostel Trofin dispatched for his first goal of the season. He went off in the 60th minute, though, with a broken leg. He is going to be out for 7 months. Kostel Trofin is basically going to miss almost the entire season with that injury. And that could be such a huge setback in the young lad's career. Thank goodness we've got Mpepo and obviously Moya, because without them at this point, we'd be struggling. And then amazingly, Issa Mpepo, lovely ball in this time from, I think, Stepanek, and Mpepo got on the end of it with his toe, and it was 2-0 at Selhurst Park. Very fortunate, but we did, nonetheless, create some good chances in this game. Ferguson, again, was superb. Dubois definitely stepped it up a notch. Palace had some half chances, no doubt. But the thing was, because we were sat slightly deeper, and we still had that wide defensive line, it meant that when they could get behind us, it generally was from a quite tight angle. Even though Polauskas was still man of the match, it was mostly just from saving long shots. It was good. I'm liking this approach. I think still lucky to get away with the result, though, completely. And then I took this approach into the Cup against Doncaster, and we basically played them. I know they're a poor side, obviously, but we've struggled to look poor against these poorer sides before, and this was a completely rotated side, and we were brilliant on the night, really, creating chance after chance after chance. Took the lead through an own goal. Nico Williams' shot hit the post and hit the goalkeeper, went in. In the second half, Stephen Walker added a second one before Ricky Griffiths flying through to make it 3-0 for us, which was very, very nice indeed. But lots of players putting in some solid performances. Sassano was good. Ricky Griffiths was sensational. Booty and Sikanic doing a decent job in the midfield as well. So our second string looks much, much stronger, and this whole approach, even though we were playing a deep line against Doncaster, we kept so much of the ball, and they could do virtually nothing with it. A few more yellow cards due to the get stuck in, but it does seem to be getting us the ball back much faster and preventing a lot of those annoying dribbles, so it's looking really nice. And that leaves us 6th. Now, admittedly, hugely false position from us. We're not going to be there towards the end of the season, but the key thing is we're already 5 points above the drop zone, having won back-to-back league games and kept a clean sheet in them, which is always a nice sign for us, to be honest. Nobody's got more than 1 goal for us so far this year. We're spreading the goals about, but I'm okay with that. And we played Brighton at home today, who haven't had the worst start, and I feel like this is the kind of game that we should potentially have a chance to win and maybe get ourselves really clear nice and early. Now, again, I'm targeting this sort of part of the league for us to actually finish, but we've had a reasonably, not easy start, but a more favourable start than we did last year. There's going to be hard times to come, and for us to win a few important matches early on has definitely made a hell of a difference to what last season was, because we're going to have wobbles, no doubt about it. So let's get stuck straight into the match. Now, obviously, Troffin's gone. It's such a shame. We've actually beaten Brighton twice and lost to them once, so we'll just do a selection advice to swish the entire team around here. Guajardo, Stepanek, Ferguson, Dubois. Yep, that's the exact lineup that we want there. Well, I actually picked the right team for once. Good God. So yeah, I was thinking about maybe dropping Ferguson to being a box-to-box midfielder, but I don't know. I think just having the team. I think I also turned off the overlap on the left-hand side. Like, he will still do it sometimes, but we're not looking for it all the time. Everything else is basically the same. We're just doing what we do, get stuck in, lower line of engagement. Oh, and a standard defensive width. Although that's the one thing I'm unsure about, as to whether we want to. It worked against Doncaster, and it worked against Palace. And the reason I did that, although I did actually change it back during the Palace game, I think. So maybe we want a slightly more. That's the one thing I'm still on the fence about. But I do really want to just get something settled so we can kind of just stick with something for a little bit. So, pleasing times. Dubois not had the best start of the year, but hopefully we can see something more from him. And I'm also going to put Kazakov on the bench too, because I think he deserves to get some potential chances. So, on the bench, Hughes, Kazakov, Booty, Griffiths, Cesano, Sikanic, and of course Gonzalo Moya. Now, we're down to 2 strikers now, and I still think that Mpepo is the guy for us, because he's got the height and the pace. But we'll see. And he has scored a goal this season, bear in mind. Part of me does wonder if the right striker role might not actually be an advance forward, because I think he kind of gets in the way sometimes. So if you've got any idea of what striker role, not complete forward, because I don't think they're quite there yet, would go well with our shadow striker, I think about Poacher maybe pressing forward. I'm not sure, but I would genuinely be interested in you guys' thoughts about that, because I feel like we're moulding something good now, but it could still be improved, because there's really no point in us trying to play like this against Tottenham Oh, look at Stepanek. This is what I mean. He does things that we could not do last year, quite simply. Ferguson. I just don't understand why they get so narrow at times. I suppose we are trying to play through the middle, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Ferguson. Hansen. But I think in chances like that, we just need a bit of incisiveness. Hansen goes past his man, cleared away, and Dubois. It looked almost like he scooped it. Dong and Stepanek again. He can drive at people. Can he get inside? He's going to have another shot there, and it's well tipped behind by Matt Ryan again. I find that it's our left-sided winger that really does seem to be struggling. Guajardo is just not able to get into games at the moment, for whatever reason. Stepanek, I think it's just because lack of dribbling ability, unfortunately. And I wonder if maybe having him hit early crosses isn't the end of the world, because it might actually allow him to contribute a little bit more, particularly with a decent cross. Oh, no! Oh, Morelos gets a cross at the front post and Brighton have the lead. It's the first goal we've conceded in such a long time, but good play, really. He got into the channel here, and it was bad defending to not track the run. Like, he lets the runner get goal side of him there, and it's always going to be a goal at that point. That's poor. Wow, that's frustrating. Brighton seemed to wake up towards the end of the half there. That's a shame to concede just before half-time like that. We're going to need something else in the second half here. Force our way back into the game a little bit. I mean, it's not out the woods by any stretch, but... God, he's got to find SecondYellowCard here. He has. When he gets a... Okay, surprising. When he gets a chance to run at people a bit more, Ferguson's not bad at that either. He's going to end up shooting in the end, I expect, but it's a comfortable save by Matt Ryan. Pereira's done all right here. Well played. He's waiting for Ferguson. Can he slip the ball through for someone? He does. He finds some Peppo. Great save by Matt Ryan. That's really nice build up there for us, and it really should have been 1-1. Of course, we can switch to the other approach, probably for like the last 10, maybe 15 minutes if we're still at 1-0 down. SecondYellowCard again. He's going to drive at them. Surely. He's all the way in. Good save by Matt Ryan again. And I think we're a bit harsh to be behind here, but like I said, with the Palace result, we can't really complain if we were to lose this one. Sassano's ball in. Headed away. Griffiths. Alvarado's ball in for Brighton. Cleared away. Get to him. Ooh, oh, dearie me. It's going to be on a penalty? Okay. Morello steps up. And it's great save from Paul. I mean, that's a brilliant stop. How it looked like it was miles outside the box, but again, I couldn't really see. And just much, much better in general. Chances created. Limited them to not a great deal, mostly from range. Winning the possession game. Still getting a lot of free kicks as it happens. Just couldn't quite find the back of the net today. Swings and roundabouts and all that jazz. That's one of those things. Right then, we're back. Quite a long off-camera period because we had the international break in there. But two pieces of good news for that. Firstly, Ricky Griffiths finally played his first ever game for Wales. So that's really nice to see him actually get a Wales call up. Also, I've just seen on Twitter that they've released a new patch, a real proper patch for FM. I've not got it installed at the moment. I'll play on it tomorrow so we can see what we're going to do. But that's going to be interesting. And apparently one-on-ones have been improved and there's a few other tweaks that could definitely make the game better. So fingers crossed that it's awesome. I'm going to ask you guys now, what do you think of the patch since you'll have had a chance to play it by now because you won't see this video till like Friday. So yeah. Now, this is kind of the approach that I've been looking at to go with, essentially. Same kind of thing here, but with a defensive midfielder, still playing through the middle, although I might just don't think that's really what I want to do. I might just turn that off for now and give us a bit more freedom to kind of do what we want. Lower line of engagement. Yeah. Basically, cautious mentality, a bit more sensible at the back, hopefully. Trying to get that ball forward a bit more. It's a bit more direct passing, less working the ball into the box, because you're not going to get those opportunities against like the likes of Spurs away from home. So, obviously the big change in here is we're going to bring in Ale Hermansen. But as for everything else, I'm pretty content to kind of go with that. I'll put Hansen on the... No, I'll keep Griffiths on the bench, because if we want to switch to an attacking midfielder, we can bring Griffiths in. But also Griffiths can play on the right-hand side too, in case we have to make a change there. So, I think I'll stick with that. Oh, they've actually gone with Jeff Alexander and Dwight McNeil. Interesting front line. Let's just go out there, hope for the best. Try and play a bit more on the counter today. Don't be quite so aggressive. And I think this is the way to do it. I'd say our clear best course of action is just to get the ball to Guajardo and SecondYellowCard and see what they can do. And dong! And he could still knock this down for someone, Perry. And Ferguson! Well, we've got a lot of the ball so far, which is definitely helpful in some respects, just to prevent us from, in theory... Oh, hello, we've lost it. Sorry, they've lost it, rather. Guajardo. That's a good ball for SecondYellowCard. He's going to get a shot away here, you feel. All the way through. Oh, and he's rolled it just wide of the goal. What a chance that was. There's Norwich are beating Arsenal. Cuisance, this is where we could get caught, but Ferguson's won it back again. SecondYellowCard. Spurs do not look up for it tonight. SecondYellowCard's all the way through. Oh, it's a foul. He is so good at winning penalties. Come on. Who's taking the foul, though, is the question. And Cavell seems to have hurt himself in it, too. I think SecondYellowCard is apparently... Oh, no, and Peppo's going to take it. Go on, lad. Steps up and slots it in the bottom corner. Tottenham 0, Notts County 1. Issa Peppo gives Notts County the lead at the not the London Stadium, New White Hart Lane or whatever it's called, or just Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I assume they're waiting for naming rights. Lovely finish in the bottom corner. Second goal of the season for Peppo, and we lead away at Spurs. It's given us something to hang on to. Okay, I think we need to maybe start playing it a bit longer out from the back. Spurs seem to have cottoned onto what we're doing. Tavares and McNeil round the post. Get to half-time, we'll have a look. But you see what I mean about how when they're getting the ball in good positions, they're not able to get the shots away. And when they do, it's in those wider areas where, generally speaking, they're easier to save. We on... Oh, that's a goal. Oh, what a save from Paul. That time they really did break us through to the wide area. Yes, nice work. SecondYellowCard needs to get this down. Nice touch. He's got to look over the top for someone. He has found Guajardo. Decent first touch from him. Can he get the shot away? Oh, my God. Didn't this happen against Spurs in the game against them at Meadow Lane last year, where we scored an early goal? I don't think it was from the penalties, but what a ball from SecondYellowCard, by the way. That's the kind of pass that we haven't seen enough of. Guajardo, though, I thought the chance had gone when he takes this extra touch. Leathers one past the goalkeeper, and Montoya does not do a good job, and it is 2-0. Holy crap. And he might be able to head away some of their more dangerous crosses. What is that? I don't understand that. That was very much not distributing to the fullbacks there, Paul. The longer we can go without them scoring the goal, which they will inevitably get, the better. I think if they get it now... Oh! Thomas Tavares in off the crossbar. We can limit them all we want to relatively weak chances, but that's all come from Paul distributing the ball randomly into no man's land for some reason. That's a bit unfortunate there. Still 2-1, ball across. It's a great header from Tavares, completely unmarked. I don't know where the left back's gone. Even if we somehow got away with this with a draw, that would still be a really top result that we would not expect. But to be 2-0 up and then throw it, well, we've only had 2 shots on target. Now is the time to turn on time wasting for 5 minutes, even if it only leads to a 2-2 draw. Spurs 1 rather. Notts County 2. Kazakov blocked. Yes! Oh, that is an enormous victory. An away victory at Tottenham. Now, we had 2 shots on target. We massively didn't deserve to win that game. But what I'm talking about with this strategy is against teams like Spurs away from home, that's how these games are going to go. We took our chances. We created some chances against them and we managed to take them. And I can't really argue with that. But again, we didn't deserve to win the match, but we got it. I mean, that's a huge result. And now we are still, I mean, as it actually happens, still only 6 points outside the relegation zone. But nevertheless, that is 9 points from our first 5 matches in the league. Tremendous victory away at Tottenham there that I did not expect to get. And the fact is, we probably could have won that Brighton game too. I think we've got some real chops about us at the moment. We've got a plan B for when things go a little bit tits up in the big games. We've got a plan C for when we need to go and attack and try to win games late on. I think we've got a decent tactical setup. Now, admittedly, this will probably all go out the window tomorrow when I try to play on the new patch. But hey, at least we've got ourselves a few points just in case things do start to go squarely tits up in that. We'll do Norwich and Liverpool just so that you guys can see us play a big game away and see if we can try and pull something like this off again, because I think we've got it in us. So we've got some interesting games coming up here. Villa in the league is massive. Southampton in the league is massive. We could actually find ourselves on a reasonable points tally if we could just get a couple more winnable wins under our belt nice and early and start to look a bit more comfortable in the league. And God, that would be a good start. It'd give us a chance to muck up a little bit like we did against Brighton. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope you have, that's a fantastic victory. Drop a like on the video, that'd be tremendous. We're looking much better defensively, and we've still got goals in our games, and I think we might finally be onto something. Anyway, yeah, hold your gun, capybara. I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.